probably seen this or have at least are aware of it. The November bond issue that we have, that we've been discussing since you got a letter in the middle of July. It's just important, and I want to make sure that we start with you. And if you have any questions about any of it, let's ask those now so the questions can get cleared up and the rumors don't become myths, become urban legends, that become problems this November. This is a wonderful opportunity, first of all, and I want to just communicate its importance and what exactly it is. If you have any questions at all about this, ask. There are no silly questions. If you have a question that you do not understand, if you're thinking it, then I guarantee you somebody else is thinking it. So please ask when we get done. This is what we showed, and basically we just started off with a mission, and this is, I think, a good thing to remind you, the staff, what the mission and vision of the school district is. Obviously, the vision, we're an excellent district. That's a wonderful thing, and again, you should be commended for that. The goal is to continue to excel and to continue to improve, and we want to be excellent with distinction. We want the highest honor, the highest grade the state gives, and we want to do that this year. Core beliefs, just a refresher for you to look at. This is what the Strategic Planning Committee adopted as core beliefs. It's a responsibility to educate. I'm not going to read all these for you. Those are the core beliefs. You can go back one. There's responsibility to the community, and this was, I think, important as a community group that adopted this recommendation, presented this. I think, again, these are important to revisit each year. The next part is what the master facilities are actually going to look like, or what we hope to have accomplished, and the vision that we have. Obviously, you see where the new high school is. The future middle school, the future middle school is right here. Future elementary school would be here. The ongoing football stadium is here. And as you can see, a lot of green space for different athletic fields. So to have everything on one campus, if we are able to pull this off in this concept for the master facilities plan, this will be a model district, period. This is something that people dream about. And if we're able to achieve this, again, I think it's a model. That's my flip. We're actually filming this today, just not me, but we're filming the presentation because one of the ideas that the committee had was to put this on YouTube to again spread the word to clear things up. So Phil just dropped it, but other than that, it's good. So why do we need a new middle school? Good question. And I think all of you are probably acutely aware of this stuff. The infrastructure makes current technology renovations very cost prohibitive. There's a lack of energy efficiency in existing buildings. I mean, when you turn the air on, that's opening the window on the third floor. That's really not conducive to cooling down a room with 30 young children in it. Accessibility and special needs upgrades are not realistic with current infrastructure, and obviously there's space limitations. So these are just little bullets that we came up with that we think are important to communicate. Here's some pictures, and you probably recognize these things if you walk through the middle school. The current tech and media rooms. A picture says 1,000 words. There's a couple more we have. Current storage availability under a desk really isn't optimal storage for records and things. So as you can see, we're pretty cramped. Why now? A lot of people have that question. Well, why now? This is not a good time. I don't think it's ever a good time really to ask people to vote and to potentially sacrifice tax dollars. It just isn't. But there are some opportunities that present themselves now that make this a pretty good time. November is a good time to run a bond issue for a few reasons. Contractors are still submitting aggressive bids. The economy still hasn't completely recovered, so bids are relatively low to this point. Interest rates are really low. I don't know if you're familiar with the Qualified School Construction Bonds, or Q-Scoobies they're called. There's an opportunity to take part in this program, and they expire at the end of this year. So not January 31st, but December 31st they'll expire. We'll lose the opportunity. So if we're able to get in on this program before then, we can take advantage of some zero interest or low interest bonds. Phase 3, the new elementary school would then be completely funded or almost completely funded by the OSFC once we meet our local share. And to explain that a little more, the high school in the middle school are the 54% share that the local community was responsible for. If we can pass the middle school, we will have met that, and the 46% share, which is the OSFC share, will be built by completely state money, we hope. And again, this is important to emphasize that this will come at no additional taxes. There won't be any taxes involved with this. It's not an additional tax rate. It replaces a tax or a millage drop, which we'll explain in a minute. How are we going to do this? Here are some terms that you're probably going to hear over and over and over again in the next few months. The OSFC is the Ohio School Facilities Commission, and it's a state agency created by the Ohio General Assembly to improve school facilities in Ohio. The Expedited Local Partnership Program is what Keystone is in, and basically the program allows school districts to pass a resolution. When you enter that, you meet a local portion of the project, and then the OSFC picks up the second part of that project. Classroom Facilities Assistance Program is a CFAP. That's what the elementary school would be built under. That's the program the elementary school would be built under, not the ELF. The ELF is the high school, middle school. CFAP is OSFC, and that would be the elementary school. Equity list is a list compiled by the state, ranking Ohio school districts according to evaluation per pupil 1 through 612. Currently, Keystone's rated 438. There's a little caveat to that that we'll get to in just a second. Locally funded initiatives, or LFIs, means it's a portion of a project which is not co-funded with the state's assistance. There are not any of these on the middle school. It's just the middle school. There's a 350 student rule, which means buildings have to have at least 350 students in order to receive funding from the OSFC. If they don't have 350 students, the OSFC won't participate. So that's why a lot of the smaller districts are K-12 OSFC projects, because they may have 350 students, 400 students, K-12. They need to build a K-12 building. If you have a middle school, you already have 350 kids, you can do that. But that kind of dictates what building styles are built. A master facilities plan is the plan that was adopted by the community in partnership with the OSFC. This is the important part. Our local master plan, the original plan includes the 912 building that we're all sitting in today. 6A middle school is phase 2, and PK elementary school is phase 3. Phase 1's been completed. Phase 2 we're working on, and if we get that done and approved, phase 3 will then be it will be very nice to have that option, because again, it's an option that won't involve any local money, or will involve very, very little local money. So the funding offer, again, just to highlight this, phase 1 is the completed high school. Phase 2, the new 6th through 8th middle school. Here's what our opportunity is. We have the opportunity to proceed with phase 2 of the master plan with no additional millage, no tax money. Issue to construct a new building which would house grades 6 to 8 at a cost of $11.5 million. Phase 3 is then the PK elementary school at no cost, or virtually no cost, when OSFC funds are available. This is how this works for people that need a visual, and I'm one of those people. This slide makes sense to me when I look at it, just because it gives you the percentage breakdown. Remember I talked about the funding level that Keystone was. We were rated 438. What the board and Dr. Freed did in 2003 is they locked in at what you were valued then, which was 325. What that means is this share remained from 2003 until today. Had they not locked into that rate then, we would have been rated what we are today, 438, and it would have meant a 72% local share and 28% state share, which means by making the decision they did in 2003, they saved the district in excess of $7.5 million in local funding because of the decision they made 7 years ago. So there's a lot of foresight and a lot of thought put into that decision, and it's really, hopefully, going to pay dividends for the community and the district now. So, costs of phase 2. Total construction cost is $11.5 million. The ballot millage for this project is 2.19 mils. The scheduled millage drop in January of 11 is 2.19 mils. So that means the total new effective millage to taxpayers is 0. Now, we'll explain this with the slide that I think demonstrates the drop in the millage. But the way that this was set up was the millage. Well, I'm not even going to try it. We'll show you. Here it is. This is again a visual. This weird-looking blue, I think, maybe is the current millage. This up here is the new millage. This is 5.3 mils, which is what people are paying for this building. In January of 11, it drops. Now what we have done is we've structured this bond issue that we're putting on in November to equal the drop. So it's the same idea of when you reach a point in your mortgage where the interest and the principal change. Some people refinance, some people put on a patio, whatever it might be. We're going to try to build a middle school with the millage drop. So again, this is what taxpayers will continue to pay with the middle school. They will continue to pay the same amount of millage, the same amount of tax. I cannot stress enough that this is not any additional tax money. So this type of opportunity does not come along often. So we really need to take advantage of this November.